Welcome back to Fantasy Hoops. Today, 4 players you need to be avoiding in your fantasy basketball drafts. These players at their current ADP you can avoid. Of course, we can never say that you should absolutely avoid anybody. But today, I should say earlier this week, I found myself actually maybe considering that I wanted to be like Ben Simmons, where I could just show up to work and all would be forgotten. And, tell everybody, I'm done, I quit, I'm done. But then I just come back and they just keep paying me.
It's a bit of a George Costanza type of thing to do.
Yes.
You blow up, you throw a big fit, you poison your employer, just show up the next day, just pretend nothing happened.
Of all, I should have expected this, but at the same time thinking, well, you sucked, right? So you'd think you'd just be quiet, maybe send, take a few videos on Instagram of you working out at the gym trying to get better. But no, it's just kind of one of those gun, like, hey, it's not my fault, it's yours. Like, you guys did this to me. So yeah. I
don't know how it's going to work with him and Joel Embiid in that locker room
exactly,
anymore. They threw way too many jabs this summer.
Yeah. So I apparently they said like he's going to be playing, like he's going to be ready to go.
Yeah. Great team guy.
I would assume you could just sit out, take your money like Deshaun Watson and just not play.
Well, they were saying that he had like a quarter of his entire paycheck due just from showing up to training camp.
Right. Yeah. I know it's about the money. Fucking guy's about the money.
But he's showing up to get about $10 million.
Yeah.
Which, if I had to show up to a gym to get $10 million, I might go to the gym every once in a while.
The fact that it was just like, Ben's at the door, can you let him in? Kind of deal. That's hilarious. I wish I could do that at my place of employment. But let's get into some players that we don't want to, not looking to draft at their current ADPs. I'll start. Both the guys here are just like general my thoughts on the situation that they're in. I'm starting with Russell Westbrook. Right now, his ADP's 20.3, so back of the second round. Last year he finished 25th overall, and I have no doubt that this is a worse situation for him in terms of he's going to be distributing the ball to LeBron James, to Anthony Davis, and who's even to say that he's going to be the distributor of the ball to those guys? He's just not going to be handling the ball as much as he did in Washington or really anywhere so far in his career. I mean, you look at the guys that have come in and played with LeBron, I would say other than AD, but if you look at like Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, like everything came down when those guys showed up and played with him. So I don't know how we can be taking Westbrook right around 2024 right now and say that he can have the same finish when he just clearly won't have the type of opportunity. We're taking the ball out of the hands of a player who's inefficient from the field, can't make free throws, and I think all we're really relying on is that he's going to distribute well. And I know late in games, like no one's going to be looking out for Russ to pick up those, that 9th rebound, that 10th rebound.
Yeah, they're not. Braun's going to be taking over. I was going to say, to your point, the only thing that he might do better this year is his efficiency. And that's not from scoring more. That's from shooting just a lot less.
Yes, volume-wise will be down. So that could help. But, I mean, how much does it really help? It's not like he's going to be I'd be shocked if I start seeing him as like making more than a 3 a game. Like if he was making 2 or 3, I'd be, wow, that'd be impressive.
Taking the ball away from his hands at the arc is probably better for his value in some cases, but just getting way less at everything. He's not going to be that triple-double guy anymore.
No.
And I think just he kind of still has that reputation of just he'll pick up every cat for you all the time. He's just not doing that this year.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not legacy value.
The turnovers are going to come down purely because, like you said, volume. You just aren't going to have the ball as much. And I mean, the best case scenario to me is like AD is like, we have load management here. We have these guys go down, and then he's like leading the offense. That's best case scenario. But you shouldn't be drafting in your fantasy leagues with the hopes of the players around him being hurt. So I'm not in it on Russ at this stage of where he's going right now.
Yeah, so in a similar vein, my first player is in a same situation where you're kind of only hoping to take him if somebody's injured, and that's Andre Drummond. He has a 94.7 ADP, which is round 8. Right now on Yahoo, he has a 100% ownership. That just seems crazy to me. He's not a guy I want on my roster for the entire season. He just seems like a guy who'd be a good enough stream if Joel Embiid is getting injured. Maybe if they make a few trades and they change up their offense, so he's getting that chance to just pull down those boards. Mm-hmm. You just look at him historically, he's the type of guy who can just go 15 and 15 for you on any night, get a few blocks here and there. But just this year, he's not going to be getting 25 minutes. He's going to be getting maybe 15, at most 20 on a blowout.
Right.
So just having him rostered full time and having to play him over other guys isn't going to help you this year.
Yeah.
Just also the stats he picks up. Like, sure, he gets a decent amount of points and he gets a ton of boards, but for a big man, he's got terrible efficiency. He's got some of the league worst free throw percentage, and he gets far too many turnovers for a guy who gets no assists.
Yes.
He's just borderline detrimental to your team at times, and in real life, his value is just so insignificant. He's always just been that empty calorie. He'll get you as many stats. You look at his score sheet and you go, this guy's amazing. He's a monster, but he's not distributing the ball. He can't finish at the rim. He's just so like mediocre in real life.
Yeah.
That I don't see Philly giving him that many runs. The only thing about him is they have no center depth right now.
Right.
So Joel Embiid being a guy who can get injured a lot, I can see why people might be reaching on him. Maybe they think they take him 100 overall and Embiid gets injured early, he gets a good run. But other than that, it's the same thing as Westbrook. I don't want to take a guy that only has value if there's an injury.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's a good point because I think Drummond is also a player that for the more casual fantasy players have not watched him play.
Yeah.
Until last year was when they finally saw Andre Drummond play because he was playing in LA. Like being in Detroit, not a lot of eyeballs. You just kind of see the stat sheet.
Yeah, even he was on the Cavs too for a little bit.
Yeah.
So when he's on the Cavs, he's the main guy. You see him go to LA, his assists drop by like 5 a game. He's just not getting the chances because you're not playing him if you're a good team.
Yeah. He's not like the pick and roll game, that kind of thing. He's just not the main factor.
Yeah.
And again, it's injuries, like you said. I'm sticking at the position with Jared Allen. His ADP right now is at 64.7. So right around early 6th round. Last year, finished 75th overall. I said to you before, I'm just really confused with what the Cavs did this offseason. I think Evan Mobley was a really obvious pick for them in the draft. Kevin Love, as much as I don't think he wants to be in Cleveland, his contract is too terrible to really be able to be moved out. So as much as he doesn't want to be there, I think he's still going to be around all year maybe. Maybe he gets moved out at the deadline. And then they picked up Lauri Markkanen in the offseason. So there's a ton of guys in the rotation here. I'm not sure how it's going to build out. So I'm kind of worried about a lot of these guys at the position. But to me, Jared Allen, like where his ADP is, there's a couple guys I'd much rather have than him just because of opportunity, minutes. Like Jaren Jackson, Rashawn Holmes are right there. Like I most definitely would rather have those guys because they typically have eligibility at both power forward and at center. So I'm just a little bit worried about Jared Allen just from a minutes perspective and having the opportunity because like he's a rebound monster. Like I think he finished top 12 in rebounds per game on the season. So, but if the minutes come down, we're probably not going to see that type of number again this year. And I would assume Mobley will be, heavily involved with a team that I don't think is going to have, not going to be battling to make the playoffs in the East. I mean, maybe they battle for a play-in game. That's about it.
I was thinking too, a team like that, like if you're saying like the Cavs, maybe they're getting into that play-in area.
Yeah.
Jared Allen, like, is that really good, just kind of veteran safety net? He's still like pretty young, but he's going to just be there as the buffer. I think like Kev Love probably doesn't pull into too many games this year, but there's still that risk with Mobley that he just doesn't get those minutes he got last year.
Right. Yeah. It's a weird spot. Like paying him that kind of money, it tells you that they see value in him. They're going to play him. But again, the guys around him at this position, I think have more safety. Like Rashawn Holmes, I think, and Jaren Jackson have a ton of safety at their position for minutes compared to Jared Allen.
Yeah. All right. So for my second pick, I'm going with Kyle Anderson. He has a 104.1 ADP right now, average of the 9th round. He's a bit of the opposite of Drummond, I think, where he's better in real life than he is in fantasy. And that's, I think, a guy that some people who maybe are more in-depth viewers of the NBA may look at him and go, I'm going to big brain it. This guy's going to pop off this year. And he's already losing a starting job to Desmond Bane in the preseason, which is kind of not promising if you're taking somebody this early who's going to be a 6-man off the bench. He does provide like a little bit of value in pretty much every cat, which isn't the worst thing to have. He offers that versatility, but I think it's just that if you look at his like X rank or just his projected rank on Yahoo or on other sites, he's still listed as like that top 100 guy. And just because he's not terrible at anything. Yeah. Which is sometimes, that's a trap a lot of people might fall into where they just see, oh, he's a guy, he can get, 14 points. You can get a few boards, you can get a few assists, get a few steals, get a few blocks. Doesn't turn the ball over much, kind of efficient. He's pretty good as a stream option, I think.
He also, I think he, like a lot of people playing last year would have, if they had him, he paid off really well for them. So
he was a bit of
willing to go back to him kind of deal.
He was a bit of a low-key guy last year.
Yes.
And now that he's kind of shown that, people are high on him.
Yes.
And it's just that rebounding effect where you're way too low on him, now you're way too high on him.
Right.
I don't like it at 104. Maybe if you're in the last round of a deeper league, you look at him and say, you know what, that's a good stash. Maybe he does take the starting role back from Desmond Bane. But just for now, I see him as kind of that fringe roster player around the same ADP. A couple of guys who are also power forward, small forwards. I saw Aaron Gordon and Kyle Kuzma going a little bit after him. And just in terms of having a higher ceiling, those guys are going to get a lot of opportunity this year to prove themselves, and they could just be much better options rather than reach on a guy like Kyle Anderson.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. I don't mind that at all. But like I said, it's just kind of a, like you said, rebound effect from he was a big player for a lot of people, I think, that scooped him up off the wire and whatnot. Anyways, be sure to, I didn't even mention this off the top, our OwnersBox has launched our fantasy basketball salary cap contest for Tuesday for opening night. So they're 7-day contests, best ball format, a mix of your season long and your daily. I mean, anything really else, points league on there. But the contest is open, NBA 10 for a free $10 entry into the contest. So go check that out. The link will be down below to our site. Go in there, $10 for free. I mean, what more can you ask for? Give it a shot. And then as well, Manscaped. Promo code BOX, 20% off, and free worldwide shipping with Manscaped. The best in male grooming. Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, you name it, they have it. Go check them out at manscaped.com. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We'll have plenty more fantasy basketball content for the rest of the week and leading up to the season. And comment down below if you got any questions for us as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.